Hello everyone, welcome to CyberTalents webinar. Today we are continuing our series of what is required in cybersecurity jobs. We have done before some jobs webinars for malware analyst, penetration tester, threat intelligence. First of all, let me introduce myself quickly. My name is Ahmed Nusir. I'm a cybersecurity technical leader in CyberTalents, a leading platform to rank students and cybersecurity professionals by running a captures of flag competitions. Today, we have a really nice presentation for you guys with Mr. AJ Khan. He's going to talking about what is required to work in automotive cybersecurity jobs. Hello, Mr. AJ.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me. And I would like to begin by thanking ASRG and CyberTalents for providing me this opportunity. Just a little background about myself. My name is AJ Khan. I am the CEO of Cyber Strategies, and I'm also the co-chair of APMA Cybersecurity Committee. More about APMA in a moment. I am also the director of APMA Institute of Automotive Cybersecurity. Today, I've got a very interesting presentation, and I was actually quite excited in developing this material for you because it's all about careers in automotive cybersecurity. And automotive cybersecurity, as we all know, is a very new and exciting area of cybersecurity. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned, I am the director of APMA IAC. I just wanted to mention that is the Canadian Automotive Parts Manufacturing Association, and the APMA Institute of Automotive Cybersecurity is looking at changing the culture in automotive manufacturing. So it looks at governance, assessments, education, and technology, and it looks at enabling cybersecurity throughout the automotive manufacturing supply chain. We've done some great work over there. We've looked at cybersecurity innovation in automotive manufacturing and smart cities. And we have also looked at how to enable the cybersecurity journey in a manufacturing association through the APMA CyberKit 1.0. Let's talk about the vehicle of the future. In the vehicle of the future, we are driving from point A to point B without any traffic congestion. We are going from point A to point B without worrying about traffic accidents. We are going from point A to point B in maybe a vehicle which is like our office, and that office is no one is of course driving it, and you're having a meeting, maybe there's a communication going on. All of that is in the vehicle of the future. And that gives us a number of benefits. Through the connected vehicles and vehicle automation, Internet of Things, machine learning, big data, and the sharing economy, we get into the connected and autonomous vehicles, and which leads to smart cities. And those benefits are of order of magnitude safety improvement, reduce congestion, reduce emissions, improve access to jobs and services, reduce transportation costs, and improve accessibility and mobility. All of that are amazing benefits. But the question is that whole ecosystem secure? Can it be disrupted? So that is what we have to look at. We all talk about case. Usually when we talk about case, it is C for connected, A for autonomous, S was for shared, but I like to use security, and E for electric. This is the transformation in mobility. And through this transformation, a lot of things are happening. There are things which are, when we look at from a cybersecurity perspective, that is one thing. But when we look at it from our society perspective, that's a totally different scenario. I'll give you an example. If you are able to commute with less traffic congestion, you can go from point A to point B more easily. That means you need less space in downtown of major cities, and you can always stay further away. That means property prices in downtown of major cities goes down, which means property taxes go down. So there's a whole transformation happening here. the downtown cores will be transformed because of what is happening in mobility. Security, of course, remains a very important component of that. And we as cybersecurity enthusiasts, we want to add value. We want to add value to this whole transformation. And that transformation will definitely be something which we are looking at we are looking to secure for the foreseeable future. Now, when we look at the ecosystem of the vehicle, we have to look at 3-4 different things. The first, we have to look at in-vehicle security. So what is the security inside the vehicle? Then we have to look at what is happening between the vehicle and the other entities, the V2X smart cities component. And the third is the automotive supply chain itself, what is happening inside the supply chain. And we have to look at the risk to all these different entities. When I talk about the risk, there are a number of risks involved over here. We can talk about the reputation risk. So what happens if a major brand is hacked or there is some disruption because of the connected environment? So we are right now thinking about, maybe a retailer being hacked or maybe a financial institution being hacked. But what if a major cosmopolitan area is hacked and you cannot have vehicles going from point A to point B, or you have the whole smart city ecosystem not working? So the risk to that, the reputation risk is there, but also other risks such as just operational risk, monetary risk, what are the costs to that? All of that needs to be secured. I have to talk about the Jeep hack. That was where it all started, when we learned about the Jeep Cherokee hack and how it was, how hackers were able to control the vehicle through the various connected components. Now, the question which I want to raise is, what is needed to secure that? What are the jobs in cybersecurity, and specifically in automotive cybersecurity, which can secure against such a hack? And those jobs, how can we protect them? How can we make sure that the people who need to be in those positions have the skills which are required to secure them? And that's obviously what we will be talking about today. First of all, of course, we need ethical hackers. And that usually is something which many people get excited about. Many cybersecurity enthusiasts start with hacking. I myself started long time back, and I was looking at hacking of different components. But the question is, what do we need to be an ethical hacker for a connected vehicle? Well, you need to understand the threat services which are there in the connected vehicle. So you need to understand hacking, but you need to understand the components of a vehicle which can be used, which can be exploited to get into the vehicle and control the vehicle. So how can you use over-the-air updates to actually get into a vehicle? Ransomware is another way. Would it be the vehicle, or maybe the manufacturer, or maybe the operator? If you are able to bring down the operator, how would that work out? So you can attack on the supply chain, car owners, fleets, dealer networks. Now, all of these need to be secured, but we'll talk about the people who can secure them. But from the hacking aspect, these are the threat surfaces. Then we have the electronic control units, the actual components inside the vehicle which can be hacked. For example, the engine side, the powertrain, the brakes, the suspension, vehicle safety, all of those. What about the connected cloud service providers? The data is being sent to various cloud service providers. Can those be hacked, and can it be a data harvesting attack? So that is something which needs to be considered. When I go and purchase a vehicle today, my name and information goes into 3, 4, 5 different databases. Are those being protected? What is the regulatory framework which actually protects that? So hackers can definitely target that, and our ethical hackers would need to know about cloud service providers. Denial of service attacks are another one. We are looking at IoT endpoints on wheels on this one. Remote hacking attacks and attacks on the connected and IoT devices. So all of these are basically attacks which need to be learned by ethical hackers. These components need to be understood, and then they can actually ensure that from an ethical hacking perspective, from penetration testing perspective, we know what are the weaknesses in the vehicle, and that then those can be protected. Now, how can they be protected? Well, first of all, we need vehicle security architects. So as a vehicle security architect, you need to understand how a vehicle's connected components work together. What is a CAN bus? What are the various ECUs in the vehicle itself? How are our vehicles remotely connected? How does V2X connect to a vehicle? So the vehicle security architect is a role which I foresee and which is already there in many OEMs who are looking at the various aspects of the architecture of vehicle itself from a cyber perspective. What are the skills required for that? You need to understand the vehicle itself. You need to understand the various components inside the vehicle. And I will say this, that cyber folks, cyber SMEs do not understand automotive that well. So they have to understand the automotive components which are involved in order to secure them. So that is the first job besides ethical hacking, which is there in this automotive cybersecurity side. We have to have secure vehicle software development. Nowadays, we have so many different components being developed, so many different apps being developed, which are for the connected vehicle. How many of them are following secure vehicle software development practices? Because definitely there are 100 million lines of code in any vehicle, and we just talked about ECUs. There might be up to 100 ECUs. And as of 2020, 250 million connected vehicles are already on our road. So all those apps which have been developed, have they been developed securely? Now, then, of course, QA of those apps need to be done. So are there people who understand how to do QA for vehicle apps? Then we also have to look at things like the app security testers. So who are looking at the code itself and afterwards looking at vulnerabilities or bugs in the code? How are patches being developed? Are they being developed securely? So this in itself is a huge field, and there's a lot of skills requirements in that area. What do you need for that? You need to understand secure coding. You need to understand how to develop a secure code and how to update it, and how to make sure that any app you develop is secure. Another big area, and many people don't think about it when they talk about cybersecurity, is the IT versus OT side and the OT cybersecurity engineers. So the industrial components, what is happening on the manufacturing side, how to secure that, and what is Industry 4.0, is all that ecosystem secure? Because definitely from the manufacturing plant side, that's where you really need to secure a number of activities in the automotive manufacturing chain. So do you understand what is OT? Do you understand what is required for OT security? And do you understand that cyber is not just OT, it's also IT. Cyber is not just IT, it's also OT, it's also vehicle cybersecurity. So there are opportunities on the OT cybersecurity area, and that needs to be looked at also. Consider in the days of COVID-19, what is happening. is remote connection to robots in the manufacturing assembly line, and people are going remotely and using those robots to complete the task. Is that connection secure? Are those remotes securely managed, or can anyone just log in and connect to that? So there is this opportunity for cyber SMEs to understand OT cybersecurity and look at it from Industry 4.0 component and look at ensuring all of these different areas, because cybersecurity and AI, as I show in this slide, are all encompassing around this. I find this one very interesting. So Fleet Cyber Incident Response Team. What happens if today a fleet is hacked, a fleet of a trucking company, and let's say they have 100 vehicles? Who knows about that? So here we are talking about, for example, telematics. If an organization's telematics is hacked, the fleet owner needs to know about it, and the fleet owner needs to take action, because here specific monetary penalties for non-delivery of goods and services would apply to the fleet owner. So this is a critical component, and a fleet cyber incident response team has to be developed. Now, what kind of expertise is required for fleet cyber incident response? You need people who understand not only the cyber side of things, but you need people who understand forensic analysis. You need people who understand the telematics information which is coming out. You need people who understand when an alert needs to be generated from a fleet cyber incident response perspective. So all of those are jobs which are available. And you think about it, we have 275 million vehicles in North America. So those fleet cybersecurity experts needs to be developed, and those jobs are also out there. And related to that, you have vehicle security operations center analysts. So who is going to monitor those fleets? Who is going to and it's not only trucking fleets, it could be the fleets of a municipality. It could be fleets like those which are used for maybe healthcare. So first responders, ambulances. You have, what happens if there is private data being shared by an ambulance and it is going through a connected a VPN connection, and that connection is taken over, a man in the middle attack is there. So how would you actually ensure that vehicle SOC analysts actually have the data to highlight this and inform the fleet owner so that the fleet incident response team can actually take some action? Again, SOC analyst is in itself a major field. They have to understand the various alerts which are coming in. What is the severity of those alerts? Should they be escalated? Should they be looked at from just a analysis perspective, or maybe it is the incident has already happened and they have to proactively look at what to do with the incident. Maybe some action needs to be taken. Maybe there are SLAs over there. So this also has to be something which has to be explored. So another great opportunity for cyber SMEs. Another area is V2X Security Engineers. So vehicle to everything communication. Your vehicle is talking to the infrastructure, V2I, to the cloud, V2C, other vehicles, V2V, and to pedestrians, V2P. So all of that needs to be secure. And who can secure that? Those who understand V2X. And V2X in itself is a wide field. People look at it from different perspective, but in that needs expertise, that needs understanding, and that needs individuals who are capable of looking at V2X from many different perspectives, such as privacy is one. What if your vehicles is being tracked? So how to secure that? Uh, Authentication is another one. How to make sure that the authentication is happening between connected parties. So an example of this is, let's say a vehicle is going from Toronto, where I live, to Miami, and there are many cities through which that vehicle is passing, and then there is data communication happening between various vehicles, between the vehicle and the various cities it is passing through. It is talking to maybe pedestrians through smart watches and other smartware. So all of that needs to be looked at, how to secure that, where is that data going, how to protect against that. And that is entirely the V2X Security Engineer. Then we have the compliance and risk managers. So compliance and risk managers are looking at it from the risk appetite perspective. So what is the risk appetite of the company, or the risk appetite of the fleet, of the OEM, whichever way we are looking at it. So you have to align the risk appetite and the strategy. So a fleet owner would have a different risk appetite, an OEM would have a different risk appetite, a supplier would have a different risk appetite. You have to enhance the risk response decisions, reduce operational surprises, identify and manage multiple and cross enterprise risks, seize up new opportunities. So maybe there's some risk, but still, that if you understand the risk, you can seize opportunities, and that will help you deploy capital. So you need people who understand risk and who understand how to ensure that risk management activities are there from an automotive cybersecurity perspective. One example of looking at risk is the new standard ISO 21434, which is coming out at the end of 2020. This is a road vehicle cybersecurity engineering standard. And when this standard looks at different aspects of cybersecurity, it looks at the road vehicles and its components and systems. So when you say components, that means all suppliers. Goal of reasonably secure vehicles. So how to secure the vehicle, automakers and suppliers can use to show due diligence. So have and the automakers ensure due diligence is there. Focus on automotive cybersecurity engineering based on current state of the art cybersecurity, risk-oriented approach, as I mentioned. What is the management responsibility for cybersecurity and cybersecurity activities, processes for all phases of vehicles life cycle. Now, when we talk about all phases of vehicle life cycle, we are talking about concept, design, development, operations, maintenance, and disposal. So all those phases need to be secured. My question to you is, what are the people required to ensure that ISO 21434 is being followed by the suppliers, by the OEMs, by the dealers, by the fleet owners, by everyone who operates a vehicle? So that is something for which assessors would be required, expertise would be required, and that's another area of automotive cybersecurity opportunities which we can look at. I think one very important area is the service provider cyber assurance program. So any vehicle has maybe 20,000 suppliers. So an OEM needs to have a service provider cyber assurance program for 20,000 suppliers, whether they are secure or not. How are they complying? Are they ISO 21434? Maybe if some credit card information is required, do they have PCI DSS? Similarly, other frameworks and standards, whatever the relevant ones are. So expertise is required to do threat vulnerability analysis for the suppliers, and how to develop a whole service provider cyber assurance program. So that's another area where cyber SMEs can look towards to enable cybersecurity in automotive and manufacturing areas. I do want to mention cloud SaaS apps risk assessment. So what are the apps? Where is the data going? It is going to the cloud. So are those cloud apps in other jurisdictions? Are they secure? So yes, I'm talking about something like a CASB, Cloud Access Security Broker. So automotive manufacturing and automotive operators, they need to look at where the data is going and who is handling that data and how is that data being used, and they need expertise to actually ensure that data is protected through maybe a CASB or some other such tool. I talked about auditors and assessors. So there has to be a cybersecurity compliance program. So if you have ISO 21434 implemented, so you have the policies and procedures related to that, but someone has to make sure that compliance to that is happening. Now, usually, and you can see so far I haven't talked about specific certifications, but CISA is a certification which is thought to look at this. But the question is, do you know about automotive components to that? So if you're looking at it from an ISO 21434 perspective, you have to be an ISO 214 lead assessor. You have to have implemented ISO 21434 and ensure that you can run a compliance program for ISO 21434. Obviously, you could be an internal member implementing the whole program, or you could be an external assessor. So again, that is an opportunity for people who are in the compliance, governance, risk, and compliance area of cybersecurity. Now, this is a huge area, security awareness program coordinator. If you start thinking about our normal everyday daily life, we have to change our mindset. Even right now, from a work from home environment, COVID-19, there has been a lot of scams, a lot of frauds around cybersecurity. Now, when your vehicle is continuously connected and you have a lot of connected components inside the vehicle, will you be secure? So what do you have to do? Well, you have to change the mindset of the consumer. And this is the same way as when for safety, the seat belt was used. So the seat belt was a demand by the consumer, and they started using it because they wanted to be safe. So similarly, the consumer itself would want cyber secure vehicles. And how would that be done? That would be done through cybersecurity awareness programs. So not only cybersecurity awareness for inside the organization is required, there have to be people who run cybersecurity awareness program for the connected vehicle, for the public, for the masses. Maybe they do it through virtual reality. How would that be done? So if you're thinking about cybersecurity awareness campaigns, you're thinking about cybersecurity for a city, for the connected vehicles. So how would that be done? And who would be doing that? So that's another opportunity for cybersecurity SMEs. So smart cities is another area. Smart cities, intelligent transport systems, cybersecurity engineers, and digital forensics experts. So there is a lot of communication happening in a smart city. There is a communication around the vehicle itself. So the vehicle is the core of everything. As we move forward into the new era of automobility, the vehicle is the core around which your life is built. Just like right now we have our cell phone. So when we use our cell phone, Our life is around our cell phone, but imagine your vehicle is the core of your life, and through V2X you have the smart city around it, the connection to the smart city, and that's everything is available on your vehicle. So you leave your home, you can see everything about your home. Maybe you have, uh, physical security cameras and information that is available on your vehicle, on your dashboard screen. Maybe there's communication happening. Uh, Maybe there is your office related information in your vehicle. So everything is in your vehicle, and your life is built around that. So you need people who understand smart cities around the vehicle, and that's also roles which are coming up. And definitely you need people who can do forensics if anything goes, because that data needs to be analyzed for various reasons. And I do want to talk about this very important role. So for the managers out there, cybersecurity managers, there are roles for the chief information security officer. And when I talk about the chief information security officer, this is in fleet owners, this is in OEMs, this is in suppliers, this is what about a city like Toronto? Uh, what is the transportation security policy of the city of Toronto, or city of New York, or city of London, or city of Mumbai, or city of Dubai? So you have to look at it um, from a wider perspective. And what is the role? What does the role encompass? So securing the business through innovative cybersecurity. What is the vision here? So the business centric, innovate, protect organization data, protect customer data. The capacity roadmap, business enablement, technical control, operational excellence, risk management, talent management. Now think about it. Now you're looking at it from the cyber security requirements for a fleet of maybe 1,000 trucking vehicles, or a, a, what about a smart city? So all the connected and autonomous vehicles. So what is the technical controls required? What are the operational excellence required? What is the risk? What is the framework you have in place? It could be NIST CSF, but it could be something like ISO 21434. So implementing that. What are the core investments? So identity management, data protection, cloud first, automation, AI-based threat management, device integrity, and the operating objectives. So this as a whole, the chief information security officer has a huge role. And now I'll give you an example for a large financial institution. Maybe the CISO heads a team of 1,000 people, 1,000 people in the risk management or cybersecurity department. So we are talking about 1,000 role for 1,000 cyber SMEs in a large automotive organization. And all of those roles are there. The CISO has to look at it, and the CISO has to run an effective cyber governance program. So establish a cyber governance strategy, implement a risk management framework, develop cybersecurity policies and procedures, protect the data, ensure third-party cybersecurity validation, establish a security awareness program, ensure compliance and auditing, and measure key cyber governance metrics. So how are you looking at whether your cyber program is successful? So the CISO has to look at that. So those were some of the roles which are coming up. And I wanted to go through the roles themselves so that you understand that cybersecurity is not just about one area. Like when we think about cybersecurity, maybe we think about penetration testing, or maybe we think about architecture, or maybe we think about compliance or governance. But cybersecurity is a huge area. And when we talk about automotive cybersecurity, that means we have so many different cyber SMEs required as we move forward, because this is a huge transformation. And the challenge is that right now those skill sets are not available. If I think about cybersecurity SMEs, they don't know about automotive. I've been in cybersecurity for 20 years. Only the last 3/4 of those 20 years were in automotive. But cybersecurity, when I came into automotive, I didn't know what is an ECU. I didn't know what is a CAN bus. So that whole skill set needs to be developed. And that skill set means that there are a lot of opportunities here for people who are willing to move forward. We can move forward with the standard certifications. Of course, those are there: the CISP, the CISA, CISM, ethical hacking, EC Council courses. All of those cybersecurity are relevant to the jobs I have shown you. They are the building blocks. But above those building blocks, you have to have the domain knowledge. So you have to understand the automotive domain and move forward and understand that from that perspective. The other very important thing which I do want to mention here is that from an understanding perspective, research is very important. And ASRG, of course, is doing some great job in this regard. So from a automotive cybersecurity research, we have to research the challenges, but we have to also research the solutions. So when I'm talking about something like smart cities digital forensics experts, so what is the data set which they are looking at? What are the cyber vulnerabilities which need to be found? So those, definitely a lot of research is required in this area. So I would say cyber researchers is another category which I would like to add to this. I'm almost at the end of my slide deck. The one thing I do want to mention is that I do offer an automotive cybersecurity course. You can go to automotivecybersecuritycourse.com and you can see that course over there. This is a automotive cybersecurity 101. So this is just your building block. And this basically takes you through what is automotive cybersecurity. That brings me to the end of my presentation. And I want to thank you, the audience. It was great to present this whole area of automotive cybersecurity towards you. I want to thank CyberTalents for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank ASRG for providing me with this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. AJ.
You're welcome.
So on behalf of some of attendants, they're asking about if I'm a fresh graduate and just want to get started in automotive cybersecurity, what kind of courses? I know you talked about some international certification like CISA, but I think it's more professional. If I'm just graduated from the college or whatever, what kind of information or certification I have to do it first?
Yeah, I think the first thing you have to do is to start with something like a cyber essentials course. So understand what is cybersecurity. If you have, maybe you have done let's say your graduation in cybersecurity, then maybe you understand it a bit more, but you have to understand the wider aspect of what is cybersecurity. And something like cyber essentials is there, but I would say that what is required is that you start looking at it from a combination of automotive and cybersecurity side. And I think the certifications would be developed on automotive cybersecurity, which are maybe base level, advanced, and above that. But start with something like cyber essentials, which makes you understand what is cybersecurity. You could look at something like CCNA on cybersecurity. You can look at doing an ethical hacking course. So do 2-3 different cyber courses, but at the same time start understanding what is the automotive technology you are looking at.
Okay, great. So also in addition to the certification, do you recommend any online resources or book for the automotive cybersecurity as well?
Yeah, so I think the best online resource is asrg.io. There are a lot of great information available at ASRG. I would also recommend uh, through APMA. So APMA IAC has the CyberKit 1.0, which shows the journey of cybersecurity and has resources available around cybersecurity. You can also go to AutoIAC. So AutoIAC is a website which has some great material around automotive cybersecurity. So that's another site which is there. The But the other thing which I would recommend is engaging with automotive cyber SMEs. So there are a few, the ASRG, of course, is an amazing platform in that regard, where you can work with your local chapters, and you can work with people who are already in automotive cybersecurity, who are already leading automotive cybersecurity initiatives, and they can be your mentors, they can guide you. So I think a great way would be to actually engage um, with your any automotive cybersecurity professionals you can work with.
Yes, great. I agree with you. The engagement with the community is very valuable for getting the information. And I also believe the practice is it's the best practice for learning anything, not only cybersecurity, maybe in different domain. So do you recommend some CT captures of flag competitions related to automotive cybersecurity?
Hands-on is always the best way to learn. So I definitely encourage people to participate in such activities. Capture the flag events are amazing way to actually ensure that your cybersecurity skills are you understand them, you understand the vulnerabilities, you understand the threat vectors, and it is in a competitive environment. So one of the things which us cybersecurity people understand is you have to work in an environment where there is a lot of pressure on you to ensure success, to successfully ensure that you're protecting data. So I'll give you an example that I was working for a entity where which was being hacked. So there was a real-time hacking was going on, and we could see them in our network, and we were under pressure to first of all limit the exposure, but also to find out what has been hacked. So you it was very time sensitive. So capture the flag events actually work in the same manner, which they make you move. They make you ensure that you are looking at different options, you are exploring different things in a time sensitive manner, and you are successful in that regard.
Okay, thanks a lot for the clarification. I also got some questions even before the webinar for some people. Is the hardware information is required, how to understand how hardware to work, or using a specific hardware for practicing automotive security? For example, like Raspberry Pi, Arduino, or different stuff.
Yes, so definitely you need some hardware. You need to make your own lab, just like any other um, components in any other area. So you have to make your own lab, uh, and you have to make sure that there are um, when you are working around this area, you have to make sure that you are able to generate the data, you are able to see the response. So yes, hardware is something required, but I think more and more as we get into this, we will see simulators which would replace those hardware, and you are able to actually have you are able to enable cybersecurity in that. Actually, I am working with an organization where we are looking at doing virtual reality simulation for automotive cybersecurity. So a use case might be that you are going in a vehicle at 120 kilometers per hour, and that vehicle is hacked. How would the vehicle react? So virtual reality, mixed reality is a great way to actually ensure that rather than looking at it from a hardware point of view, you can actually simulate it through different means.
Okay, great. One last question regarding the university degree. Is the university degree required? This is a common question, not only for automotive, but any cybersecurity field. But some people ask, should I graduate from engineering, or I can do some, let's say, a diploma or a specific course or training to get started in this field?
Yeah, so I think the people take different paths to coming into this area. I know people who have been working in the automotive field. They're not cybersecurity people. They're in the automotive field, and they have been laid off for some reason. And then because they understand automotive, they start studying cybersecurity, and they are coming into automotive cybersecurity. And these are people who are who've done high school, so they don't have a college degree. But then there are people who have done who have done their college degree, who are maybe done their graduation, maybe they've done an engineering or computer science degree, and then they're coming into this field. So I've seen both paths being happening, but usually the people who are coming in without a college degree are those who are already in this field, who have maybe spent 10 years and who understand the automotive cybersecurity, the automotive manufacturing area, for example, and now they want to get into the cybersecurity side of it. So both paths are possible. I would recommend that based on which area of cybersecurity you want to get into. So for example, if you're looking to get into the vehicle security architect, there are courses coming along, there's college degrees coming, which are now focusing on vehicle cybersecurity or vehicle architecture. So that's one way of getting into it. But more and more, as we mentioned before, that maybe specific certifications will be developed, which will provide you a path to get into automotive cybersecurity.
Okay, thanks a lot. It's now clear for me. I'm still waiting for more questions from the participants. You can write any question anytime on the chat of the stream. We still have more 7 minutes for this webinar. So in case anyone asks any question, please submit your question on the chat box. Someone asking here about how this relative to IoT technology.
Yes, so IoT is all about, and just go to the screen also. When you start looking at digital manufacturing, industry 4.0 or smart cities, so one of the things in that is Internet of Things. Your vehicle is IoT on wheels. You are everything is connected, your infrastructure is connected. So when you are looking at IoT from a holistic perspective, you have to start thinking about how to secure that. In this slide, I'm actually showing the industry side of things. So, but the same could apply to your vehicle. It could apply to smart cities, your home, and all of that comes together through V2X, through smart cities, so that communication is happening, and you can control the cybersecurity of your life's ecosystem through your vehicle, through panels on your dashboards on your vehicle, and how to secure IoT on that regard. So that is definitely a component of that.
Okay, great. I think there is two more questions coming. I know you already answered that questions before about the website names for learning the automotive security. And someone asked about the for learning automotive penetration testing, which one the best book or the hand-on lab as well. So we can repeat it one more time if someone just joined us now.
Yeah, so to start with, you can always go to my site, automotivecybersecuritycourse.com. That's one. As I mentioned, ASRG has some great material. So asrg.io is another great site. You can go there. Um, there is definitely some great books on, well, not that many books on penetration testing for vehicles, but Alyssa Knight recently has a book on hacking connected vehicles. So you can Google for that or look it up on Amazon. That's a great book. There is more material out there where you can some research papers through IEEE that there are some good material out there. But yes, more material needs to be developed, more content needs to be out there, so that from an automotive cybersecurity learning perspective, people are able to learn. I have to emphasize that this is a very new field. If we really look at it from a cyber perspective, ISO 21434, the new standard, has not even been launched yet. So that will be launched at the end of 2020. So right now we are still developing the overall ecosystem of automotive cybersecurity, and based on that we will develop more and more content, and more learning can happen. But like I said, asrg.io is a great site, and Alyssa Knight is the author of the book for hacking connected vehicles.
Okay, one here asking about he need to create his own lab, ECU, and what vehicle brand or model do you recommend for doing his own lab?
I don't think there is a specific vehicle brand he needs to look at. Nowadays, we are looking at it from every vehicle is a connected vehicle. And if he wants to look at from a connected vehicle perspective, as I mentioned today, there are 250 million vehicles on our road. So in order to develop that lab, you have to look at it from a not from a brand perspective, but what do you want to achieve out of that? So if you're looking at ECUs, and if you're looking at the traffic from ECUs generating that, or are you looking to hack into a vehicle? If you're looking to hack into a vehicle, then you can look at many connected vehicles. I do want to mention one thing here, that we at APMA IAC, we do have a fleet of vehicles which have connected components on that, and so they have developed their own fleet, which is, so you can develop your own lab from that perspective also. Maybe if you're a university or you're a research institute, you can develop your own fleet and have connected components and open it up for potential research with various parties.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today, and stay tuned with the rest of our monthly webinars. AJ, thank you very much for presenting this interesting topic, and I'm sure this has added a lot for everyone attended today. And before closing the stream, I want to remind everyone that CyberTalents is organizing Automotive Cybersecurity Captures the Flag competition with ASRG on October 17. You can participate individually for 12 hours. And there is some prizes for this event. You can go for cybertalents.com and go for the competition section. You will find ASRG CTF. For the first 3 winners, they will get prizes for this competition. Just create one account and go ahead. And finally, I wish the best of luck for all of you. And thank you again, Mr. AJ.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you to CyberTalents and ASRG for this opportunity.
Okay, thanks.